So as much as following my passion, and I've always been driven by passion, I'm also driven by keeping the lights on as well.
Do you find that people that just come up to you all the time asking you, hey, I'd like to be in radio, would you put me in radio, having no experience?
I actually always look for people like those.
Yes.
The mistake they make is they think you've got to have a wonderful voice to be on radio.
Yes.
You have a lot of things happening to you now. Enjoy the moment. Things are happening. You cannot be fearful about what's going to happen tomorrow because you really don't know.
I came to realize that real strength comes from showing your weakness, because that shows that you're not afraid.
All right, welcome back to Self-Made. It's been a great journey with my brothers here, Dr. Rain, Anthony Owich, and of course the world famous Mina Kigeni. We've learned so much about each other on this journey. I've learned about Dr. Rain and his desire to leave the world a better place. I've learned that my man here used to work in a chocolate factory. Call him Sweet Boy. And of course, I've learned that the catalyst for so many people's success, including Mina Kigeni, is being broke. It's a great catalyst right there. Now, guys, what have you learned since we've been talking?
It's been a great series, and I've learned something from each and every one of these guys. I've known G for years, but I learned a lot about his radio breakthrough. That was eye-opening for me because it's an inspiration to any young person willing to get into media. Of course, from Tony, this guy is just from banking to being an ambassador, the adaptability. If you know you can change and you want to change your life to be something else, you can. That's the biggest lesson I learned. From Daktari, of course, he inspired me before I even met him because he put a face to the pandemic and really took us in behind the scenes of what it was like for health workers. So perseverance, adaptability, and perseverance. That's exactly what I learned from these guys. What about you?
I think the one thing I learned from these amazing gentlemen is we all have one common thing, which is consistency, the willingness not to be complacent, and the willingness to change. And one thing that Maina said that really touched me is we have a common thing, the fear of being broke. I remember numerous times I was broke, I was just like, oh my days, this is not it. And that just pushes you more. So that's the one thing that I learned, that we have so much in common for us to be successful in our respective fields. It's that element of us putting ourselves out there and not being complacent.
Exactly, because that thing about broke touches, because if you've been broke before, if you've tasted brokenness, if you've tasted poverty, that feeling of being helpless and not being able to do something because of lack of money or income, man, that's the motivation. That's what drives you to make sure that 100%. I'm going back there no matter 100%. What.
100%.
Yep.
Most definitely. Now, I think for us, there are so many common threads, but it will also be interesting for us to see, for people who have watched this, and also in the comments, make sure that you jump into the comments and let us know what you think as well. But we've got an audience today, randomly selected group of people to come through and ask us some questions. So let's turn the cameras on you guys, and then you can turn the cameras back on us.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Maina Munene. I'm also in the entertainment industry. I'm a stand-up comedian. And it has not gotten to a point where it's sustainable. So my question to you guys is, how do you balance between what you're passionate about and hustle? Yeah.
G? I think for me, the balance is I've always been a realist. So as much as following my passion, and I've always been driven by passion, I'm also driven by keeping the lights on as well. So for me, until I got to a point where my passion could sustain me financially, until I could make a career out of radio or DJing or whatever, I always had the side hustle. I always, I can tell you, and you guys don't even know this, I used to sell women's clothes. And I used to sell clothes in general, but I sold women's clothes because women buy clothes more than dudes. You're selling clothes for dudes, you'll keep that stock forever. But women, it just goes quickly.
True.
So I was there doing gigs, but in the back of my car, I used to have shoes and dresses and all these things hustling. So the point I'm making is that follow your passion, but be realistic about it. At some point, your passion's gonna be your paycheck. But until it gets to that point, have that heart, have that hustler's mentality. You know what I mean? Do what you have to do to feed your passion. Mind that was a great question, by the way, man. And we all, as creatives, we all go through that. So just keep your head up and keep pushing, my G. All right, any more questions?
I have a question, or rather two questions. I hope you don't mind. My name is Jackson Anjero. I also work with Minor. I'm an aspiring comedian. And first of all, I had a question for you guys. How do you deal with blowback from the public? Because most of you guys are in the public eye. So not everyone's going to like you. You know, that's life. Not everyone's going to like you. So how do you deal with that? And secondly, do you think that luck had something to do with your success in life? Because I think that has
That's a very good question.
Brilliant question.
luck is a very, very important thing that people forget to say. So
It is actually, if I can just start with answering that question. First of all, the blowback. Everyone's never gonna like you. You've got to accept that. You're in the public space and there are people who do things for their own reasons. But you have to respect that everyone has an opinion and they are free to express it, no matter how bad you think it may be of you. You learn to ignore some things. As long as you know you're doing the right thing and you're following your plan and your dream, then nothing else should worry you. They always say, if you stopped to throw stones at every barking dog, you'll never get to your destination. When it comes to luck, it's preparedness and opportunity
100%.
that then brings you that luck. You make your own luck. That's always been my opinion, that if you work hard enough, if you keep going and don't lose focus, some luck will come your way and everyone gets their fair share of breaks.
Yeah.
What I can say, just to answer both questions, is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah, you always have to be ready. Like I remember for me, like even one of the lines, you know, as a rapper, you always writing. But one line that I've written, and yesterday I saw on Twitter guys were asking what's your your rapper's dopest line. Mine is more ready than I'll ever be, ever readily, energy like a battery. So it's a reminder, it's a constant reminder, man. You always gotta be ready because the opportunities, they don't come frequently. These universe, the way it talks to you, when you have that opportunity, you have to be ready. Because if you miss that, sometimes you miss that train. That's the train that was supposed to, and then you miss that one, maybe because you were too scared or you had imposter syndrome or you didn't believe in yourself. You missed that one, and then you have to hustle even harder. Then another one comes. So it's up to you. Maybe you hadn't grown enough. Maybe you hadn't seen enough in life. Maybe that opportunity was not meant for you that time. But it was there, you didn't act on. So you hustle, you go back. You grind, you push yourself, you thrive, you stay true to yourself, but at the same time pushing, chasing. And then the next one comes through, it's
Make
a
sure
wrap.
you're on it.
Staying
Staying ready is always easier than having to get ready.
I like
Staying
that.
ready.
Yeah,
I like that.
what Minor said.
More questions from the audience. What have we got?
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. My name is Shaz. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entertainer. I'm a person with a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
One of the things that the last time I watched this particular panel have a conversation, Minor, you talked about how you got into radio.
Yeah.
And how it was purely by chance.
Totally.
You walked in and you saw, you didn't have the money to pay for the voiceover,
Yes.
and that's kind of how you got into it.
Yes.
I'm curious to know about the businesses that you get involved in now. Do you find that you often walk into situations, and not just you, for the other gentlemen as well, they say that women tend to shy away from situations where they don't feel ready for the opportunity, whereas men will tend to go yes first and then figure out how to do it later. Do you find that, would you agree?
100%.
Some of you are
Totally.
giggling.
Yeah.
Totally.
100%.
Get
Say
in.
yes first.
Get your foot in the door.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yes.
Because the moment you back when the door shuts,
Yeah.
you've lost 100% of that opportunity.
Yeah.
Get your foot in. If you have to figure out how to do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Yes, but get your foot in the door.
Do you find that people that just come up to you all the time asking you, hey, I'd like to be in radio, would you put me in radio, having no experience? Do you find that tenacity, I guess,
I actually always look for people like those.
Yes.
The mistake they make is they think you've got to have a wonderful voice to be on radio.
Yes.
The
You don't have to have a wonderful voice to be on
No.
radio.
If it was based on the quality of the voice,
Yes.
Kengangi would never be on radio. I think he's got the most horrible voice ever. It's
I'm
a
glad you said
personality.
it.
It's the personality.
Yes.
So what I run, unlike other people who do voice tests,
Yes.
I run personality tests. And I see how engaging you are. And that's what I look for in people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's an element of I have to be able to see that you put in the work from the initial conversation we have. And that comes from, I work with a lot of DJs, a lot of event organizers that tell me I have this amazing concept. But when you start listening to the concept, you can tell they haven't done the research. Most of the times they don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of amazing DJs in this country, for example. But someone will just come up to you and tell you, Anthony, give me a night. But I'm like, I mean, identify the nights that we have, the theme nights. Show me that there's this gap that we're not tapping into, and tell me what you can do and how's it going to relate to more revenue or at least growing the numbers, something like that. And I will definitely give you an opportunity with something like that. But that shows me that you've taken the time, you've analyzed what we're doing, you've analyzed this is working, this can be improved, and with that we can work on certain things. And I will definitely give you an opportunity. But as long as you show me you've put in the work.
Final question. So allow me to go maybe beneath the surface a little bit. And of course, we talk about a particular persona and way of being. But I'm curious to know, especially with being individuals who are very front-facing, what, for each of you, if you would indulge me, what would you say is an emotion that you hide most often?
What is the emotion I hide most often? Let me think about it. Gee, you better take it from there.
Do you know what?
I ask this in particular because usually you find that women are able to access that a little easier than maybe you would. But I also feel that maybe we do a disservice when we only show sort of the lion side of things. And I'm curious to know what's
vulnerability.
What's the belly? What's the
Vulnerability
yes.
for me.
I want to know.
I don't want to look short. Where I have shortfalls,
Yes.
I make sure I don't go there in my public persona.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's got that in them.
Yes.
You know, there are things I'm short of. There are things my friends know about me that no one ever knows about me. But you don't go there because you've got to present your strengths.
Yes.
There's nothing you ever do when you're successful at if you present your weaknesses.
100%.
Yes and no. I feel like sometimes your
Yes.
vulnerability is rewarded when you show it to people. I want to see the softer side of a medical practitioner.
That's what I'm about.
For example.
If you go to my Instagram, and why many people now follow me is because
You're hot.
And married.
other than that,
It doesn't take it away from him.
True.
well, other than that, I show the vulnerable side. I show the face of doctors because we show the lion side. You know the lion side of doctors. We go hard, we work many hours, we are smart, we're intelligent, we save lives, and we have this God mentality. But we don't show the vulnerable side when things go wrong, when you have to question yourself and ask yourself, did I do my best for the patient? Did I lose this person because of A, B, C, D, E? So I came to realize that real strength comes from showing your weakness, because that shows that you're not afraid of what will come or what people will try and use against you. But this doesn't apply when it comes to business. Yeah, if you've read a book called The Art of War, there's also that element that you must keep. There are many things that I don't share on social media, but vulnerability is not one of them, because I am one of getting rid of toxic masculinity, where we cannot share when we are down, when we are going through things as men, you know, because there's this machismo thing, and that's only hurting us. So yeah, it's an opposite, but business-wise, there are things you want to keep to yourself. Yeah.
I think you know when everybody watches this, that's another 1,000 followers on Instagram for that Dari. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just being me, man. I just be myself.
I mean, for me, and I love the question because it's like there's two things that really people probably would know. I have the worst imposter syndrome, and a lot of people don't think that's actually a real thing, but I think especially amongst creatives, it's such a it's something you can't hardly define what success or what good is. It's for example, if you go into a radio studio, mine goes to the radio studio every single morning, he can't say how great he is or how good the show was, or if he MCs a gig. It's so hard to, if you make a record, it's like you have a bar, it's like you don't know if it's a good bar. And for me, I've always struggled with that thinking that maybe I'm not as good as people say I am. Some people say that. I've struggled with that, I won't lie. But one thing that I can tell you that people will never see, they'll never see my fear. Because for me, I'm that guy who's gonna close my eyes and do it anyway.
I think mine circles on everything each and every one of you has said, from vulnerability to fear, to even being vulnerable to other people. And this affects me largely in my personal life. When it comes to business, I do have fears, I do worry a lot. Sometimes I might be very anxious because I don't know the outcome, and I tend to overthink a lot. But it got to a point I just realized that was not healthy, and I started reading books about living in the now. You have a lot of things happening to you now. Enjoy the moment. Things are happening. You cannot be fearful about what's going to happen tomorrow, because you really don't know. I mean, if something bad does happen, you're going to step up. You're going to deal with it. So these are some of the things that I keep on the low. When I walk into a room, a lot of people tell me that I seem very confident. I seem very well put together, but I'm actually tripping balls inside, like half the time.
100%.
But it's a good thing that the perception that people have of me is that I have everything together. But most of the times, I do worry a lot. I overthink situations. So that's one of the things I really like to keep on the low.
Very well answered. Thank you so much, Tania.
And I think that's why man like Chocolate Man here is self-made,
Willy Wonka
man.
himself.
Willy Wonka himself with the golden tickets. Listen, it's been an amazing experience sharing the stage with some amazing people, and it's been great to have the audience in to ask questions as well. We've really enjoyed putting Self-Made together. We hope somewhere in the corner of your life, somehow you can pick up a jewel here or there from the Doctor, Chocolate Man, the I don't know, I have to call myself
The superstar.
No, the superstars over here. But yeah, like we really hope that you've been able to pick a jewel or two, and the most important thing is keep breaking the average. Absolutely. No one cares about you if you're average. Be
real.
Regal, be real.
Be real.
Success is a blend, man.
Absolutely.
Mix it up.
Is. My G.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a ride and a half. Learning so much. Dr. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.